All right, question 4 here. We've got a boat, pretty sweet looking boat right there. Must have been drawn by a very talented artist. A boat that's being pulled into a dock as shown in the diagram. So here there's like a line that's attached to the boat, and it's being pulled at 2 feet per second in that direction, and that's moving the boat this way. That's what I say right here. At the moment, the length of the line between the dock and the boat, so that's this one, is 13 feet. So that says 13 feet. What rate is the boat moving horizontally towards the dock? So what rate is it moving through the water here? Notice the dock is 5 feet tall as labeled there. So this one I'm going to do a little bit differently than I did the previous pythag one. This is also a Pythagorean theorem one. And I think that you'll see that it's kind of convenient to be able to do it both ways, I guess is the easiest way to say it. So I am going to draw a right triangle. I'm going to label this as y, which I know is always 5. I'm going to label this as x. It's changing. I'm going to label this one as z. Some people use h here for hypotenuse. Either one's good. What I want to also say is z prime, or dz over dt, is equal to -2. I'm going to use prime notation in this one just to change it up a little bit. And then I know that x prime is equal to something. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm also going to specify y prime is equal to, well, the dock is not changing in height. At least we're rolling with that assumption. So that means the y prime is 0 because it's not changing. So I'm going to go ahead and write some of that out here. Y prime equals 0. Z prime equals 2, x prime equals 1 and 0. We also know that at the time we care about it, z is equal to 13 and y is equal to, 5. Notice, at least in terms of what we have listed here, we do not have x written out yet. So let's go ahead and start solving. We are going to use pythag, so we're going to write x squared plus y squared equals z squared. I'm going to d over dt both sides. So I do power rule on x, or on x squared, that gives me 2x. And I'm going to multiply by dx over dt, which I'm just going to use prime notation for, plus 2y times dy over dt, or just, y prime, and then that's equal to 2z times z prime. Now I'm going to divide everything by 2 to make it more simple, and that gives me x times x prime plus y times y prime. That's correct now, equals z times z prime. All right, so now we're going to plug in what we know. Notice I'm just going to go, what I'm going to do is follow the order in which I have them here and write them in this thing. So y prime is 0, so I'm going to go and write 0 right there. Z prime is 2, so I'm going to get, it's -2. So I'm going to write -2 times, I'll put in parentheses. And then, let's see, do we know y? Y is 5, so I'm doing this in a weird order now. I'm just going through and filling in things as I know. So I know y is 5. I want to do z. Let's see. We know z is 13. So we're going to write 13 times here. And then I do not know either of these. I do not know either of those, x or x prime. So I'm just going to write them out as they are for now. So I've got just x times x prime, and then plus. Right, everything's the same color there. All right, so what I want you to see is that this simplifies down to x times x prime is equal to 13 times -2. I can just write that as 26. -26. What I want you to see here is in the previous one, if you watched the video on it, I didn't I didn't include all of them as variables because the new one was fixed. What I want you to see is if we recognize that this is fixed, we can just work with the same equation every time we do one of these pythag ones. All right, so remember, we are looking for x prime here, so I need to figure out what x is in order to be able to solve for that. Fortunately, we can find x by just doing pythag on this right here. X squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. If you solve that, you wind up getting x equals 12. It is a Pythagorean triple that you may know from past in math. So that means I can write 12 times x prime equals negative 26. And then I just divide. I get x prime equals negative 26 over 12, which just simplify down to negative 13 over 6. That's a decimal, but I don't have it, so we're just going to roll with the fraction. And I'm going to write feet per second because I know that that is going to be the units of x prime because it is a dx over dt. Couple comments. This is, as I said, like an alternative way from the previous one. If you always want to do x squared plus y squared is z squared, whenever you have one of these, that's totally legit and should work pretty much all the time. Secondly, it should make sense that our answer is negative. Why should it make sense that our answer is negative? As this rope gets pulled in, this goes in, so this length right here is getting smaller. So hopefully you're good with this and you're feeling the related rates problem.